MzeroA Nation, good evening and welcome to the birthday party. My name is Magda and I know all of you took time for your wonderful evening to learn about aviation and to see Jason, not to see me. But before we bring the big guy on camera and allow more people to hop in, I just want to say thank you for joining us tonight, and most importantly, thank you for allowing Jason to talk about not only the fundamentals of MzeroA, but also many things he has never shared in public before. Wow, his journey from being completely broke financially and emotionally, seasons of his life where he made outstanding decisions, other times where he made absolutely terrible decisions, like most of us, right? Me included. So I really appreciate to see all of you here tonight. I see all your names. This is wonderful to see all the cameras on. So I just really appreciate to see all of you here tonight, allowing my man to talk about his past experiences that made him better and the amazing person he is today. You all, the MzeroA Nation, are very important to him, and it is such an honor that he trusted me in front of you. He was very nervous about this because he knows I can go crazy and say, clear prop, and he gets embarrassed, but I won't do that. So just a few minutes to say thank you. Thank you and happy birthday. Speaking of happy birthday, you notice that so many people have the same shirt on. This is a gift to all of you that sent us a happy birthday video. I have to say that Jason and I had a blast watching all of you. So let's play the clip that Coach Ray put together, and Jason will join us right after.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, MzeroA.
Happy 14th birthday, MzeroA, from Kilo Yankee 8.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy 14th birthday, MzeroA.
And happy birthday to MzeroA.
Happy 14th birthday, MzeroA.
Happy 14th birthday, MzeroA.
Happy birthday. Happy 14th birthday, MzeroA.
Happy birthday, MzeroA.
Happy birthday, MzeroA.
Happy 14th birthday, MzeroA.
Happy 14th birthday, MzeroA.
Happy birthday, MzeroA.
Happy 14th birthday.
Happy birthday, MzeroA.
I want to wish you a happy 14th birthday to Jason and crew from KLHQ.
We didn't get a frequency of 114.14.
Yeah, no.
Right? What else? We didn't fly at 140 knots.
No.
Right? What else? The altimeter's not 3014. Everybody, do you get the impression that we're trying to make some sort of subliminal thing? What do you think?
What's with this 14?
14. It's 14. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Hey, everybody, just let you know, MzeroA's 14th birthday. We, Joel and Bob,
Did you want to
wanted to give everybody,
you just want to do
MzeroA Nation, happy birthday. Glad you're along for the ride.
Hi there, MzeroA. We wanted to wish you a happy 14th birthday. Say happy birthday, MzeroA.
Happy birthday, MzeroA.
MzeroA Nation, happy birthday.
Hey, MzeroA family and MzeroA Nation. This is Brad Schnell, wishing you guys a very happy 14th birthday.
Happy 14th birthday, MzeroA. And here's to many more years of making great pilots.
Hey, Jason and the whole MzeroA family. Just a quick note to say happy birthday. And remember that none of us could get to where we are today without the help, mentorship, and guidance that you and the whole MzeroA team provide. Happy birthday. And remember, a good pilot is always learning.
Happy birthday.
Hey, Jason, it's your old buddy, Jamie Beckett. Special emphasis on the old part. I wanted to take a minute today to congratulate you and the entire MzeroA team on an absolutely remarkable 14-year run. You know, when we first talked 13 and a half years ago, I was impressed. But since then, you haven't just created an online ground school provider. You built a community, a huge, really valuable community of pilots and aviation enthusiasts, people who really want to get better and experience aviation mastery. That's an impressive thing. You've done a remarkable job. So to you and Matt and Meg and John and the entire crew there at MzeroA.com, thank you. I wish you the best.
MzeroA Nation, what is happening? Happy birthday. Happy, feel like this is the day that the Wright brothers should have taken flight. That's how I really feel about all of this. Hey, thank you so much for those amazing birthday messages. You all are absolutely outstanding. Let's give some shout outs. Yolanda in California, great to see you. Lane, what's happening? Kirk, you packed on the COVID-19 of muscle, my friend. Look at you. Good for you, my friend. Jordan in the UK, good to see you. John Franco, Steve, Marty Miller, Christine, Frank, Richard's iPad. That's a good name. What's happening? Micah, what's happening with you, man? Paul Doyle, Danielle, fantastic to see you all. Glenn, good evening. Good evening. That's how you would do it, Glenn. I feel like Glenn and I know each other already. Well, the real JP Morgan is watching us. What's happening, JP? Good to see you, my friend. Been a long time as well. Bob, what's happening on here? David, Mark, Craig Ziegler, good to see you. Someone is on a Galaxy S10. Welcome, and I forgive you for that. We're Apple fan, but I forgive you for that, Lisa Wood. Always great to see you. Kirill, good to see you. Jason Bell, what's happening? I am just so thankful. Let me scroll through a few more pages and make some shout outs as well. Bill Roberts, good to see you on here. John Verselli, always wonderful. Monroe, good to see you. Pete, I like that 2-3 Mike Zulu shirt. You are looking good. Mark, I see you waving. Good to see you. That can't be Mark's hand. That's someone else over there. That's Mark's little guy. Hey, Mark's little guy. Good to see you on here as well. What's up, Jason Crow? Good to see you as well. Hezekiah, I see that private pilot blueprint. Listen, I am just so excited to be with you all this evening and really diving into, Amanda and I were debating what to call this, our birthday bash, our anniversary. I don't know what it is. It's 14 years of a lot of craziness and hard work that you all will see and will illustrate for you all this evening. We're going to kind of go back down memory lane and share some MzeroA history, but I promise at the end, we're going to relate it all so perfectly and tie it all together to flight training, to being a safer, smarter pilot, because ultimately that's what our mission is all about. As Magda shared, you see everybody wearing these super cool shirts. Well, on the back of these shirts, it's really our message title for today. And Magda, if we could share that with them real quick for those who can't see it. Our watchword is foundation. And on the back of the shirts, I have the slide here, Magda, if we can cut to it and show it, please, thanks, is foundation. And you may look at that and go, Jason got the grammar wrong. Maybe he meant founded 2007. Maybe he meant the new MzeroA Foundation. That's not what I mean. I mean foundation as our buzzword. And throughout this presentation, just like focus was our word 2 weeks ago, this evening foundation is our buzzword. And that's what we're really going to be diving into. So why is April 15th a great day? Other than, your taxes are due, your Q4 quarterly estimated and your Q1, I realize it's an expensive day and they moved tax day, so it's not as bad today, right? But on this day, I'm going to show you something very, very interesting. On this day in 2007, I posted on a little website called MzeroA.com, and you're not going to believe this. I have a picture of it here. I can show you. This is what the original MzeroA.com actually looked like. I know it's beautiful. MzeroA, the pilot's way. What was I thinking? Like, that's not even good. That's not even good marketing, right? To error is human is the first post I ever posted on there. It was an analysis of the JFK Jr. crash. And I just posted this little blog out there. MzeroA, you all know, stands for Mach Zero Aviation. My dream was I wanted to be a Navy or an Air Force pilot. I want to be shot off aircraft carriers, or I wanted to fly the F-15E in the Air Force. If you've ever met me in person, you know I'm a little taller than I look here on camera, and I was actually too tall to fly anything fun. So the recruiter said, listen, Jason, you're gonna be flying your small airplanes the rest of your life. I said, no, I want to fly at Mach 1. You're gonna be flying at Mach 0, kid. You're just too tall to fly anything fast and fun. We can't eject you out of that thing or shut the canopy on your head. So Mach 0 aviation, MzeroA was born from that. And, you know, starting out early with this business in 2007, I had really, really audacious goals. And I went back and found some of my old notebooks, actually, that I'll share with you. You ready for this? The first time MzeroA ever made money. Here is my old goal notebook from 2009. Apparently, January 1st, 2009, the month of January, we made $13.55. I know it was a pretty exciting month. Look in the next column. Next month's goal, my goal was to make a whopping $25. I know it's pretty close to you know, almost doubling the income of MzeroA. It was a little bit audacious. It was so audacious that I missed such a goal as we were working through it, but everything has humble beginnings. Going back in those early times, looking through some of my earlier journal entries, I was always big into goal setting. We talk a lot about goal setting. We did a January 1 webinar talking about goal setting. We'll do the same thing again for New Year's resolutions this year. But I have another image I'd love to share with you here about my goal setting. Let's show them that real quick, Magda. You can see at the top, it says, what do you want? I want to build a newsletter to be published weekly, Mondays. I had to be specific, right? And reach 1,000 subscribers by July. Look at the very bottom. It says, what is the last thing that has to happen that you have, so you know that you've achieved your goal? And I have really good handwriting too, you can tell. When I see that I have 1,000 people reading what I have to say, I will be blown away, is what I wrote back in 2008, 2009. Now MzeroA.com gets 20,000 views across our videos every single day. That's like filling Madison Square Garden with people every single day. You know, sometimes you set goals, and I missed all those goals, by the way, 14, 13, 12 years ago, however long those goals were. And you see, all this time, MzeroA was just a side project. I was just dabbling with MzeroA, working through all these things. I was still flying traffic for Joel. You saw Joel in the birthday video, and out of the couple hundred of you here, Joel may be out here watching as well. Joel was one of my early aviation mentors, and I was flying traffic for Joel. When I say I was flying traffic, by the way, I was literally flying around Jacksonville, Florida, just reporting traffic accidents to local radio stations. I had to put in my radio voice. This is Jason Schapper, your Eye in the Sky traffic reporter, and then still talk to Jax, you know, air traffic control, which is Controller Bob, and everything else, doing all of these things, all to make ends meet as I'm working through this. Now it's about this time I'm saving up what was in the time, you know, good money. I had my life savings. I had $10,000. And there was an airplane for sale at that time on eBay, of all places. And I bought that airplane for $10,000. You all probably know that airplane. You've seen it perhaps before. It's 512 Romeo. This is one of the pictures of actually bringing it home. And the irony of buying 512 Romeo this early on, this is like 08, 09-ish now, about this time frame. I used my last and only $10,000. I am broke on broke, but boy golly, I've got an airplane, right? Who would rather, you know, be broke but have an airplane? I figured that's a win, right? I see a lot of hands raised. I'm with you, Russell. Yeah, exactly. I got an airplane. It meant I had to move back in with my parents, though. So it was a really awkward conversation. I'm sure mom and dad are watching too, that, hey, mom and dad, I bought an airplane, but I spent all my money. I can't pay my rent, so I need to move back in with you guys. I hope that's okay. So I moved back in with my parents and moved. They were in Ocala, where I still live to this day, down in Ocala. And I had my little 512 Romeo that I bought for $10,000 on eBay. I hate to break it to you, but you can't buy a certified airplane for $10,000 that's like has half-life on the engine and everything else nowadays. You might buy a wing for 10 grand, but inflation and prices and everything else have just gone through the roof. It's It's around this time I had some ideas. I was big into television production. In fact, TV production is the only reason I passed high school. I actually signed up for the class because it was an easy A. I never thought I'd be doing the high school morning announcements and being behind the camera and learning so many things and skills that I utilize now here today in our career. It was about this time a little company called YouTube had only been in business about 2 or 3 years, and we launched the MzeroA YouTube channel. So on January 18th, 2009, we launched a little thing on this YouTube channel. Believe it or not, who remembers when YouTube used to look like this? Is anybody that old? I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say. Eric Pittman remembers. Eric Pittman's not old. Doesn't have any gray hair in that beard just yet. Danielle remembers. Yeah, I got you. We remember when YouTube looked this way. And MzeroA hardly had any views with that. Let's make sure we're recording back on eCam too, so Coach Ray doesn't yell at us. Thank you. So we launched with little fanfare to that. As I alluded to, it's about, now you can't laugh at this, right? Magda and I are gonna show you a picture here. You can't laugh at this. We launched the private pilot blueprint. That's what I looked like. I couldn't even unruffle my shirt. Like I didn't even unruffle my shirt. In fact, I didn't even actually, this isn't even my shirt. I have a very good friend, Brian Merrill. I didn't have much back then. I didn't own a collared shirt, and I was filming all these videos just in t-shirts. And my buddy, Brian Merrill, came to me and said, hey, Jason, you need some collared shirts, man, and started giving me stuff out of his closet. I'm going, man, this is Quicksilver. This is really nice stuff. Like I had nothing. I was just like a young kid. And to me, Quicksilver was like Louis Vuitton back then, right? Yes, please. So that's where I got all my shirts. This is also back in a time, we can show them this one more time, Magda. This is also back in a time where I focused the camera, I ran around, I pushed record, I came back over to this side of the camera. Hey everyone, Jason Schapper here, MzeroA.com, and I'm here to tell you about the private pilot blueprint. And I'd end like this, and I'd run back around, I'd push stop, I would put it in my superior computer, an Apple computer, and I would edit everything in iMovie, right, Coach Ray? That's the superior editing device. So I would do everything with that. The private pilot blueprint had such humble beginnings along the way. And then I had a really crazy idea. All our competitors, and I learned using competitor products, and I will never speak poorly of a competitor, but all the competitors for ground schools out there were producing private pilot, instrument pilot ground schools on VHS tapes and DVDs. And I was thinking, man, with this YouTube thing, I'm really getting the hang of it. What if we take this thing to the internet? So in all my wisdom and the best website design that we had capable for 2009, 2010, don't laugh, Dave G and all our web developers out there, this is what we came up with. The online ground school. I know it is a masterpiece of user interface and user experience, I am sure. That's what the original online ground school actually looked like, as I had this idea to roll out our training all online. Now we updated it a little bit, after launch with this little like bad clip art image. I probably stole that from Google Images. It's a miracle we never got sued or anything like that. That's like a Cirrus clip art. All my Cirrus guys and gals will like that. This is August 2010. And I will never forget that time period, because I worked so hard on setting up the entire online ground school and just working through this. And I remember that day in August where I was going to launch it. And I sent it all out to the internet. I went to launch it. I'm still living at my parents' house, and I went to bed. I'm thinking, I'm going to wake up and there's going to be so much, money in our PayPal account. This is going to be awesome. Well, I woke up. First thing I did was check PayPal, and we had one sale. One person became an online ground school member. I remember thinking, it must be broken. Something must not work. I checked the website. It was still ugly, but it worked. I went in, did a test purchase that worked. At least now I had two members, me and one other person, right? I'm thinking maybe it was so successful, we crashed the internet. I mean, that has to be what it is. Maybe we just crashed the internet, but it certainly wasn't. It wasn't the case. It's been from our $13.55 up to one ground school member. It's been very, very humble beginnings. Now, to fast forward a little bit, I married in 2011. Now, as a husband and just of a struggling family trying to support, I'm flying 512 Romeo by day, giving flight lessons in that, and doing this MzeroA thing by night. And everyone's going, what is this MzeroA? They don't understand it. No one ever understood when I said, I'm building an online ground school. Everyone said, you can't teach people to fly on the internet. How would you ever, Jason, teach people to fly on the internet? And I believed a lot of that, unfortunately. So thus, I just kind of dabbled in it. But even through that dabbling, we were able to pay some bills and kind of work through a few things. And we were making we weren't making a living, but we were just doing okay as a side project. And then the first bit of adversity hit us. And you'll realize throughout the story that MzeroA was built on adversity. And you all maybe can relate to some of this because we all have adversity in our lives. It was in 2012 that MzeroA was the victim of a widespread YouTube hack. Literally everything we had was lost on YouTube. I can actually show you. If you go to the current YouTube channel, this is the first video posted called MzeroA Restart. And if you actually look, our channel is called MzeroA Flight Training. It was never called that. It was originally just called MzeroA, but the channel was hacked. All the videos were deleted. The password was changed. YouTube and then eventually Google could never, and still to this day, can never get me back in there. So that is why our channel, fun fact, is actually called MzeroA Flight Training, because I needed another name. So this is just a little video I shot on a webcam, just sharing what had happened. We lost all our subscribers. We lost all our comments. We lost all our views. We lost all our ways to interact with everybody. And I wasn't about to let this bad thing define me. However, I also learned very quickly how weak our business foundation was. You see, I relied on one source to bring in referrals and everything else. And with YouTube away, the little dabbling business we had and revenue began to shrink. Because of this, I entered into a really, really tough period of my life. I began to fall behind on mortgage payments, risking foreclosure. Credit cards were in default and plus 90 days past due. Cars past due, literally to the point where I had to begin leaving my car at my friend's house because the tow truck was coming around. Anybody ever been like, hide your car in the backyard, hide your car at your friend's house? Kind of broke. You don't have to raise your hand. It's not a good place to ever be in your life. It's a humbling place. It's a painful place to be. I no longer wanted to pick up my phone because it was just a debt collector. All because of this mistake of having my business so leveraged in YouTube. It's because of this I could no longer make hangar payments. So 512 Romeo was actually kicked out of the hangar and tied down out on the ramp. I felt like my world was literally just spiraling out of control. And just when I thought I had my first ray of hope, my friend Brian, the same friend who gave me clothes, collared shirts to wear and videos and everything else, he called me and said, hey, Jason, I heard your airplane is sitting out on the ramp at the Denellen Airport. He said, Jason, you can't leave an airplane in Florida out on the ramp. I said, Brian, I don't have a choice. I've got pennies to my name right now. Everyone's kicking me out of everything. Every debt collector's calling me. He said, listen, Jason, I've got an empty spot in my hangar at the Ocala Airport. I want you to just fly it over there and just keep it there for free till you can get back on your feet, and then you can pay me. And you see, many of you know actually where this story is going, because I've shared the second part of the story, but you never heard the story that I just shared. That day, I hopped in 512 Romeo by myself. I started the airplane up and the airplane backfired. And I thought to myself, something just doesn't feel right. Longtime MzeroA fans and of the nation know exactly where I'm going with the story. You just never knew the backstory. You never knew the pain that was occurring in my life when that happened. I taxied out to finish the story for those who don't know it to runway 09, now runway 10 at the Marion County Denellen Airport. I did a full power run up. Everything seemed good, but have you ever just had that gut feeling that something just didn't feel right? I had that, but I was so broke. I mean, broke emotionally, broke financially, in all aspects. I don't know if I would have passed an I'm safe checklist if you asked me on the emotion and the stress part of that. And I taxied down to runway 9. I gave it full power. I got to 400 feet and was met by the loudest noise you would ever hear or hope to ever hear in an airplane. I didn't know it at the time, but I had lost cylinder 3 and blew out my exhaust manifold simultaneously. Instinct caused me to lower the nose. I began looking at fields to land at, everyone's greatest fear, an engine failure on takeoff. Well, I was blessed that mine was only a partial engine failure on takeoff. If there's a silver lining there, I lowered the nose and realized I wasn't gaining altitude, but I wasn't losing altitude either. I was able to nurse 512 Romeo all the way around the traffic pattern and landed the airplane, was met by everybody from the Marion County Airport because they heard the terrible sounds the airplane was making. I stopped it. The airplane was in a cloud of smoke from all the oil that was hitting just the hot engine. Oil was all over the plane. And normally that's where I stop this story when I share this about my engine failure on takeoff. But now, since we're all family here, you know more of the backstory of the season of life I was in and the season MzeroA as a business was literally in. And I remember I just cried my eyes out right there on that ramp, thinking, why is this happening to me? Why is life happening to me instead of for me? What have I done? Like, what happened to cause all these terrible things to happen to me? And I have an image actually from that time. I'll ask Magda to share it. I don't even like looking at this image because it makes me sad to look at it. But that's 512 Romeo, cleaned up from the oil, but on the ramp, the propeller off of it. You can't tell because the cowling's on, it's missing a cylinder. It looks like the right tire is flat. It had been sitting out there for a while as I was trying to figure out just what to do. Here I am, just broke on broke on broke. And my only source of income, my only way to pay the bills has 3 out of 4 cylinders. It's missing its propeller because that was also damaged in the process. And I just remember, have you ever gotten to a point in your life where you just said, enough is enough? Never again do I want to be in such a place. I remember I logged into my bank account that day or around that day, and I took a picture. And when I say I had pennies to my name, I truly mean it. I'm talking, there were not dollars in my checking account. It was literally pennies. And I took a screenshot of that. And I went in probably a bootleg version of Photoshop because I couldn't even afford to buy Photoshop back then. And I put in big red letters, never again. And I made that the background of my computer. And I made it the background of my cell phone. And I made sure I saw that every single day. Never again, Jason, will you be in such a place. Never again will you be in such a desperate situation. However, I now had no airplane. The airplane, again, is the sole source of income for my little family. Again, more backstory. I'm a 3-time college dropout. I snuck out of high school with a 2.2 GPA, mostly because TV production helped make it, helped me get the grade point average that I actually needed there. I looked at it as I had 2 options. I could go get a job. However, this is 2012, 2013. I mean, unemployment is just 2% off of its 2008 recession highs. Many of my friends are still furloughed from the airlines, if their airlines even still existed. How many airlines folded in 2008? So it was clear to me, I only had one option. I had to be all in MzeroA. And it was about that time I found a mentor. He's no longer alive, but he was a mentor through his books and through his quotes. He's a gentleman by the name of Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn said, success is the process of turning away from something in order to turn towards something better. I thought, wow, You know, all this time, maybe all these terrible things happening to me, we're all building towards this moment to say, stop dabbling in this MzeroA thing and make this happen full time, Jason. This is where we need you to be. The cosmos, everything all aligning for this to happen. But when you're in that crummy situation, it never feels that way. So I buckled down for an entire year. You can imagine it was very hard to make videos to post to a YouTube channel. If you go back to 2012, 2013, you'll see I didn't make videos about airplanes. I made videos about hypoxia and flight planning and any video I could make on the ground. I couldn't make the fun flying videos that you all get to see every day now because I just didn't have an airplane. I would bum rides off of friends and hop in the airplanes. If I did, I had to rent GoPros because I sold all my GoPros just to make ends meet and all these things. I ended up having to sell 512 Romeo. And I sold it to a mechanic there at the Marion County Airport. And it was bittersweet because it allowed me to satisfy all my creditors and all my debts and make good on everything. But really just to have a new, fresh start, to have a fresh foundation. So for that next year, I just cranked on content, was all in on this idea of an online ground school, and through some good genes, some many blessings, some great financial gifts, was able over the course of a year to buy, oddly enough, the original traffic airplane back from my very good friend, Joel, 7159 Quebec. And on April 3rd, just a few days ago, right, would have been the birthday of buying 7159 Quebec, which you all now know as 23 Mike Zulu. You see, 7159 Quebec was the plane that I have so many thousands of hours in that I first did my traffic job in, flying all around Jacksonville, Florida. It was in 7159 Quebec that we made all those things happen. And it kind of lit a fire under me. We were back in business. We were able to do flying videos again. We started to gain some traction with this. But all my friends were telling me, Jason, you might have something with this MzeroA thing, but you have to stop doing everything. You need to hire some people. To hire some people, I can't even, I'm still just now barely paying my mortgage. I'm still traumatized from the creditors and everything else. I'm finally getting back on my feet. I can't imagine hiring somebody. So I had a really, once again, a crazy idea. I put an ad on Craigslist and I put wanted, director of video production, because I thought that sounded like a really, really cool title. I mean, that's honestly the whole reason I even picked that title. Because remember, I'm still focusing the camera, pushing record, running back over here, running back over there, stopping the camera, being the presenter, editing the videos. I needed help in that department. So I put a Craigslist ad. I don't even know if Craigslist is still a thing, right? I put an ad on Craigslist. For $20,000 a year, you could come and be MzeroA's director of video production. 2 people applied for the job. The first one never even showed up. The second one is a gentleman named John. And you all know John because John still works for us today. He makes way more than $20,000, I promise you that. But John moved his entire, he didn't live in Ocala. He moved his entire life to Ocala for a $20,000 a year salary. And it's funny, he was just talking to Magda about this the other day. And he was sharing, he said, Magda, you know, I was interviewing Jason as much as Jason was interviewing me back in those days, 6, 7 years ago. And he said, I was so compelled by the vision. And it's so fascinating to see the vision that Jason was sharing with me in this little humble office, and I'll show you the office in just a second, that everything he predicted, everything he put on his vision boards, all these things are now coming to fruition. And it was so fascinating. And again, John has been with us from the very, very beginning. We went out and got a humble little office space for $550 a month. Here's John and my dad painting it. It's pretty good graffiti work, if I had to guess. Back in 2014, the funny part about this original MzeroA office is you see it's an old 1,500 square foot warehouse. So we had this brilliant idea. It's unair conditioned. And this is Florida. I don't know if you live in Florida, but not having air conditioning in Florida is really not an option. So we built out this little 10 by 10 office space, and we put a window air conditioner unit in there to cool it off. Dummy me, not realizing we were just venting. I didn't realize a window air conditioner unit, a byproduct of cooling is heat. Like that just never dawned on me. So the hot office, the hot warehouse is already hot anyways. Then I'm venting the heat from the air conditioner back into that hot space. It was a really terrible idea. So this is how John and I used to do videos back in the day. I would sit in the air-conditioned little 10 by 10 space and try to make it as cold as I could. We'd run out into the warehouse space. I would film one video. In the early videos, you could almost see like the sweat starting to come down, and I'd cut the video right before I broke into a crazy sweat, and John and I would run back inside the air conditioning and towel off, and we did video by video going back and forth in the early days in our $550 a month little humble office. And John, just like every team member at MzeroA, just brought so much value to it. Who here has seen or you've been with us a long time if you know this, the movie Flying Again? Show of hands, anybody remember or have seen the movie Flying Again? Dave Ennis, I see you there. Marty, yeah. You may or may not remember, we launched this with a Kickstarter, believe it or not. And that was really John's idea. I have a screenshot of it here. And we were able to raise $49,000. And it was the first time I thought, there's something to this thing. We could really make this thing work. We worked with 8 rusty pilots on their journey back to proficiency. John and I actually have talked about making a digital release of this because it's only on DVD now. And I realize no one has DVD players. So we'll work, maybe John, I know he's watching this. He's probably super embarrassed at me right now, but make a DVD release of that. We used that money to go out and buy the first cinema quality camera for MzeroA. This is a shot of actually John and my brother out filming the movie Flying Again. By the way, John still has those pants. He calls them his digi camo pants. He bought them in like a random gas station when we were traveling somewhere, and he will still wear them to this day. So if you ever see John, ask him how his digi camo pants are doing. He stitches them up when they get holes. That's his jam. Just as things were starting to look good though, adversity struck again, and it was self-inflicted, honestly. It's now 2016, 2017, and we launched into something called the Good Pilot Tour. I did 56 seminars in 2017 alone. I was gone 150 nights. I was solely focused on the business. I left my little family, now very, very young children, and was just all in on this business while they were at home. And in my mind, I told myself, I'm out there providing, I'm doing the right thing, but I was all in, but gone 150 nights. Whatever you put your time, your energy, your money into, the more important it becomes to you. It's hard to care for something you're not fully invested in. And as you can imagine where this is leading to, unfortunately, I made the terrible mistake of putting the business first, and I ended up divorced. And that's a word I thought would have never, ever in a million years entered my vocabulary. And it just shook my world. Because there I was, we earned every great business award you would want to earn. In 2017, we were the Inc. 500, we made the Inc. 500 list as the 230th fastest growing company in America. Entrepreneur Magazine named us the best company for entrepreneurship and innovation. Inc. Magazine also named us a top place to work. And there I was chasing awards and putting the business first, and ended up divorced. And it pains me to say that. That's, again, a word I never wanted in my vocabulary to begin with. But I am blessed to serve a God of second chances, because you all got to see at the beginning and all know the beautiful lady that I have by my side today. And you learn from those mistakes that you made, and you better believe those same mistakes will never get made again. You might be saying, Jason, this is getting super personal. Like, why are you sharing all this stuff with us. Let me relate it to you. Let me relate it to aviation. You see, everything that has happened to you has shaped your foundation. I am sure I'm sharing things that people on this webinar right now can probably relate to. You don't need to raise your hand or anything like that because this is a touchy, weird subject. I totally get it. But you are where you are right now because of decisions. Decisions you made, decisions you failed to make. If you failed to make a decision, we all know a decision is made for you. You see, the cosmos doesn't care if you are rich or poor, male or female, the color of your skin, your political beliefs, your religion. All it cares about is when you fall down, are you willing to get back up? And who out here, show of hands, has fallen down, right? And in your training, because you will encounter adversity in life, you will encounter adversity in your flight training. You see, 2 weeks ago, I presented to you the fundamentals of focus. This evening, I'm encouraging you to focus on your foundation this time. You see, adversity is really a building block to that fundamental of focus that we worked on 2 weeks ago. And if you missed that presentation, I hope you'll go back and check it out. You see, it comes down to two camps, to put it in plain English. Are you an orange or are you a lemon? Allow me to explain. You see, an orange and a lemon both have thick skin. That's good in life. Both are a citrus, so they're similar. Yet, when an orange and a lemon are squeezed, when they're put under pressure, well, one produces a sour result, and one produces what could be called a sweet result. Which are you? You see, I can promise you this. In an airplane, nothing good comes from anger. Nothing good comes from frustration. Nothing good comes from any sour response when you're flying in the airplane, or when you're in your flight training, or what you're going through right now in your life. And I hope you realize that this isn't just all about airplanes, because we all have things we're struggling with and working through. But if I could offer you any bit of reassurance, it's this: you are exactly where you're supposed to be. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. And guess what? If for some reason you don't like it, I need you to know this: you're just building your foundation. Because over the past 14 years, we've just been building our foundation at MzeroA.com. You have the power to change the way you see these things, these events that you believe are happening to you, but might just be happening for you in your mind's eye. William Henley said, I'm the master of the fate, I'm the master of my fate, the captain of my soul. That's what William Henley said. Now, I know a few of you might just, your takeaway from this might just be, hey, this was a really fun history lesson of MzeroA, Jason. That was really cool. But I hope you're listening to the message that is interwoven and really disguised as a birthday bash and a history lesson. Because the real lesson is adversity only strikes before great things happen. It's an attempt to derail. Yet we all study weather, right? When does the best weather come? It comes after the storm passes. Now, Magda and I are in a season of our life that when something difficult comes our way, we sit back and go, whoa, something really good, Magda, must be coming to us right now because of this adversity, because this thing is happening, right? Adversity strikes right before great things. So I realize your training may be delayed right now. You may be on the sidelines because of COVID. You may be on the sidelines because time or money. You may be unemployed right now. But let me tell you something. One thing will never, ever change. Spring always follows winter. You know, when the earth was created, it was dark and void, and then there was light. You see, there was darkness first, and then there was light. The moment you understand the seasons and the nature of these seasons, you're able to control your focus, you're able to stay centered. Successful people spend 80% of their time finding solutions and spend 20% of the time on the actual problem itself. To quote the late Jim Rohn one more time, he said, many people miss success because they major in minor things. Where focus goes, energy flows. if you choose to focus on winter, you're going to miss spring. Simply because you're complaining about how difficult winter was, how cold this past winter was, how dark this past winter was. Let me tell you something. The rest of the world is moving towards spring, and it's going to leave you behind because you're still thinking about winter. Maybe all these adversities, maybe all these difficult things, maybe all these setbacks, it's just your foundation. Maybe you can take our watchword for our 14th anniversary, this word foundation, the branding that everybody's carrying on the back of their shirts with their birthday shirts, and go, you know what? This stinks right now, but I'm just building my foundation with everything. You have setbacks, you have adversities. MzeroA has had them, you have had them, and they have made you the man or the woman that you are today. And I am just, I am blessed and thankful to call you such an amazing part of the MzeroA nation. So I'd like to open it up for questions at this point. And again, it does not have to be related to difficulties in training. If you want to talk through some difficulties, we can talk about it. I am here to serve you all, truthfully. You want to talk business, you want to talk flying, it doesn't matter. We'll answer as many questions as we can. Magda and I and the MzeroA team, and team, by the way, MzeroA Nation, thank you for staying around so late. The MzeroA team is, again, working after hours here just to continue to serve you all. Jordan Penning, I see that your kind words in the chat. Thank you. Thank you for staying up so late, my friend. If you will just raise your Zoom virtual hand, I mean, you can wave at me too, but raise your Zoom virtual hand if you have a question. And what I'll do is I'll unmute you. We'll take that question. I will tell you though, if you want your question answered, you need to make sure you have your camera on. That way I just know you're not a crazy person, right? I mean, you could totally be a crazy person. I just want to look in the eyes. Like I see Jason Bell right now. I'm coming to him first. I already talked to Jason Bell 2 weeks ago, but I can look the man in the eyes, say, hey, Jason Bell, your beard looks better than it did 2 weeks ago. And he doesn't look like a crazy person. So let's see, Magda, you've got to do it from the other computer. Jason Bell will get it in just a second. Let's go ahead. Oh, Magda, I realize, you know what? You're going to be mad at me. Jason Bell, before you unmute yourself, I don't have my super cool earpiece, Magda. I have no way to hear Jason Bell. Could we throw that together real quick? So I will stall for a second while she sets that up. My bad, Magda. I'm so sorry. We were rushing to get everything done. I would just see Jason moving his lips and everything else. She's getting all that plugged in for us, and then we can go. I'm not even going to put this thing on right. I just want to hear you guys. And I'll work on that in a bit here while she gets all that kind of plugged in and going. So we'll go to Jason first, and then I don't see Mario in his seat. So Mario, when you come back, we'll go to you. Actually, we'll go to James. Hezekiah, I see you there. Oh, Dr. Bill, as long as you don't cause trouble, Dr. Bill, we'll unmute you. Don't you worry. I see you shaking your head. Mario, we'll come to you in just a second. Magda, let's unmute Jason Bell, and let's make sure the volume's up and I'll be able to hear him.
Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear, man. How are you, man? It's been like a whole 2 weeks since I spoke with you.
I know it felt too long.
What's happening, man?
Hey, you know what? Actually, Jason, to be fair, not a question. I had to jump on and just say thank you, honestly, for everything you put together, all the content that you put together, and honestly, just the stories tonight, right? It's so inspiring. I mean, you can see it in the comments, but. And everyone else has said this too, but it goes so far beyond just aviation. But you've created a community that's honestly pretty incredible. And
yes,
I look at especially like the Facebook group, right, where there's so much hatred and negativity on Facebook, and like the MzeroA group is one place where, I mean, when I did my first solo, God, I had hundreds of comments just with all positivity. So I just want to thank you, man. You inspire me every day, and I appreciate it.
Man, well, we appreciate you, Jason Bell. Thank you for just being a beacon of light out there. And he's right. If you are not in the MzeroA Nation Facebook group, head over to Facebook, type in MzeroA Nation, and you can check that out there. You need to be in there to add some light in your life. Jason Bell, thank you for that, my friend. I promised Mario we'd go to him next. He's back in his chair. He's ready to go. Mario, we're going to ask to unmute you. So it'll pop up on your screen, Mario, to unmute yourself, and let's see if we can hear.
Hello,
Mario.
Jason.
I got you, my
Hey.
friend. How have you been? Long time no talk.
Long time no talk. Yeah, well, it's been busy with my work and, I'm in the movie business. So I just wanted to say congratulations. I've been following you for a long time. I'm a lifelong member. And I started many years ago and I've watched you grow and change and things change within your organization. I just want to give you a big hug and a big congratulations. And that's all I want to say to you. Thank you.
Mario. You are outstanding. You guys don't know this, but Mario has been following us for a very long time. And he was always so good about giving great constructive criticism on our lighting or our audio or whatever it was. Just a super, super guy. Magda, let's go James, Matthew, then Dr. Bill. So let's go James first. We're going to click ask to unmute on James. You may have to click something on your end. James.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, man, I got you. How are you, man?
Listen, man, I got to call you and tell you thank you. About 2 years ago, I also do YouTube radio, and I fly a Cessna Twin 310. And I asked you to send a autistic group in Alaska your books.
Yes.
And you did. And I'll tell you what, I'm getting chills here. But I wanted to call you and thank you. This is the first time I've seen you speak, and I'll tell you what, your past is a lot like mine, and I can't tell the group enough. Never, ever give up. God bless you, Jason. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you. Thank you, James. You're outstanding, my friend. You rock. Let's head over. Matthew, that is a really, really good looking t-shirt over there, my friend. What is happening? Let's click. Did you unmute him, Magda? There we go. We got him.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear, man. How's everything going with you? Nice shirt.
Man, I'm here in Ocala. Thank you for the shirt. I appreciate it. I was just going to say, man, thank you for the nice little speech you gave. Allows me to relate. But I had a question for you. This is something that I'm about to do. In 2 weeks, I've got it scheduled to do my check ride. The one thing that everyone's afraid to do. So do you have any advice for somebody who's about to, jump over that little fence?
I understand, my friend, and I absolutely do. And it's so easy. So many people give the cliche of, oh, your instructor wouldn't sign you off if he or she didn't believe you were ready. And that's true. It's all true. But I believe it's almost becoming cliche at this point. My friend, as you get ready for your check ride in 2 weeks, I need you to kind of pick up the following strategy. Knowing that we're 2 weeks out, I need you to start getting some lessons in 2, possibly 3 times a week. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a lesson with your instructor. There's also a lot of confidence that needs to be built up on your part, and maybe just some solo stuff out to the practice area, some solo pattern work, some confidence boosting type items. And honestly, Matthew, I would work through the hardest things now, and then from there, actually go towards the easier things. Don't neglect the things like ground reference maneuvers. Those get neglected so often. You did them back at hour 5, and now you're here at hour 55, and you're like, oh man, a turnaround a point. Yeah, that's been a long time since I've done that, right? So don't neglect the basics and get back through those sort of things. I know for a fact, my friend, you have passed your private pilot check ride, probably on audiobook, and I'm not here to sell anything. You know that. I need you to listen to that thing on repeat while you're at the gym, while you're walking the dog, while you're driving to the airport, whatever that may be. I need you to immerse yourself in that. And that is going to help you so much, because when you're sitting down for that oral exam, remember, it's like a deposition, my friend. You answer the question and you zip it. Don't you dare volunteer too much information or anything else like that. You're a talker like me. We're helping others 2 weeks ago on the Zoom call, sharing a similar subject and a similar sentiment. Now, as we get closer and closer, it would behoove you, it would greatly benefit you to get a flight in with another CFI. Because as anyone who's done a check ride here will tell you, my friend, one of the most nerve-wracking things about it is, whoa, I've never flown with this dude or this lady before. In fact, mine was the opposite. I did my entire private pilot training with an amazing lady who only weighed 100 pounds. And then I did my check ride examiner with a gentleman who was like 3 times her weight. The airplane did not even perform the same as you could imagine, right? My short field landings that they used to float, and now I'm slamming them on in there because of the weight factor of it as well. So getting someone else in there, not only for the different weight factor, but for get over the nerves of a new person, new perspective, new, just, yes, they're all holding you to the ACS, but sometimes the words that come out of their mouth and the words that don't come out of their mouth, that's where the money is made. And that's where the lesson really, really benefits the most, my friend. You know, my prep the day before the check ride, I don't want you looking at an airplane. I don't want you thinking an airplane. When a 172 flies over, I need you to go like this, wear a hat. Don't you dare look at it. Don't listen to the book. Don't even think about airplanes. I need you no drinking, nothing crazy. Get to bed early, take some melatonin, healthy dinner, healthy breakfast, minimal caffeine, because you're already going to be nervous. Bring snacks. And then post you holding the temporary certificate in the MzeroA Nation group. That's the most important piece to this puzzle, my friend. So Matthew, I know you're going to rock it, my friend. Hey, MzeroA Nation, can we all plan on being Matthew's accountability partner going into this? So Matthew, post some questions. Look at all those thumbs up. Post some questions in there, Matthew. I want to see you active in the group, asking questions. And I promise you, this group will serve you, my friend. This group will serve you with that. So, all right, let's go. Who did I? And again, if you have a question, all you gotta do is raise your Zoom hand, and you have to have your camera on, so I know you're not a crazy person. The book is called, someone was asking in the chat, Rod was, Pass Your Private Pilot Check Ride. We have Pass Your Private, Pass Your Instrument, Pass Your Commercial, ebooks, audiobooks, paperbacks as well. So many people have used those. Who did I promise we're going to next? Is it Dr. Bill's turn? Oh, we might be in trouble with this one, Mag. Let's see if he's going to behave tonight. He can be a troublemaker sometimes. Dr. Bill, what's happening?
Okay.
I got you.
You got me. Okay. Well, no, I just want to congratulate you for being a successful entrepreneur. It's always good to see young individuals, you know, have the entrepreneurial bug and take a company and make something of it. So I want to ask you, did you have a business plan?
Wow, good question. Did I have a business plan?
Or did you have one like I had one and I threw it out?
Yeah, because sometimes all good plans you have to adapt. And the MzeroA team will tell you, I still cast vision on this company and have things totally change. And, you know, like I was sharing, we're just building our foundation. Wait till you see the amazing things that are coming. And a lot of them, Dr. Bill, just were not planned. I wanted to share this earlier, but I got a little sidetracked when we had the technical glitch. Magda made me this a long time ago. This is the original MzeroA shirt I had. And then down here's my original notebook. And one of my notes, it's really heavy, Magda. Did you have to pick the heaviest frame on earth? What does it say? Your business is too big to focus on it all. I was listening to a book or a speaker at that time, and I'm thinking, my business is too big to focus on it all. My business is me, and I'm making $13.55 a month. What do you mean it's too big to focus on it all? Just these crazy things. And you're right, Dr. Bill, I didn't. I mean, I had a rough idea, and a lot of it was kept up here, but business and aviation are so similar because aviation throws you a curveball and you have to divert. Right? Business throws you a curveball and you've got to divert. And sometimes you got to land and retool the plan and refuel. I mean, there's so many just analogies that you can work through with all of these things. So great question. I know Eric Deagle and a few others on here, they're always bugging me. We need to do like entrepreneurship Zooms one day. So maybe we'll do that for all our MzeroA entrepreneurs out there. That might be some kind of some fun stuff. Let's go. Let's see, I promised Hezekiah next, then we'll go to BJ, and then we'll save Eric Pittman because I've got to have words with Eric Pittman here. It's important. But let's go to Hezekiah first. Hezekiah, you will remember from our last Zoom, I believe we ended with Hezekiah's question last time. Outstanding. I saw you on here early, my friend, and I saw you rocking the private pilot blueprint as well. How are you, Hezekiah?
Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear, man.
I took I took a discovery flight.
No way, congratulations, my friend. And how was it? What airplane did you fly?
It was a Cessna 172.
Super.
And we flew around town, and the flight instructor let me do a couple of turns.
Yeah, that is awesome. Most importantly, Hezekiah, Did you log it? If not, you need to go back and buy a logbook and march in that flight school and make sure you log it, because I believe you said you were 12 last time. Is that correct, my friend?
Right.
Yep. You need to log it. If you go back to my earliest logbook, my first entry was discovery flight at 12 years old, my friend. And from that discovery flight at 12 years old, you just got to hear the story of how much has happened. My friend, you have an amazing head start, not only in life, but in aviation. And you have to capitalize that and use that to your advantage. I mean, how many people watching this wish they had their first flight at 12? Like, wish they had the means, the finances, the vision, weren't scatterbrained enough, like, right? Oh, yeah, almost everybody's raising their hand. Absolutely, everyone wants that early start. Hezekiah, you have an advantage, my friend, and you need to seize that opportunity. I realize at 12, money is an issue. I totally get it, my friend. But it's time to start hustling by washing planes and whatever else it takes to make all that happen. So whatever it takes. I mean, Coach Ray will tell you, what was it, Coach Ray? You were sweeping out hangars or something, I think, to pay for lessons. I was washing Joel's airplanes, and Joel had some dirty airplanes, let me tell you, because he always put too much oil in there and always blew back on the belly. And I was always on the creeper, getting under the plane, cleaning the belly. It was a terrible, thankless job. But it gave me hours. So who'd I promise next? BJ, who number one is on an iPhone. So that makes him a winner already. And he sent us an awesome birthday video. BJ, what's happening, man?
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, man, I got you. How are you today?
Well, I am dog tired. Find out I got to jump in a truck and head to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations. I don't know. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it's good and bad. It takes me away from the family and some flying time weekend, but it's what's got to be done. And hey, that's a nice shirt you got on, Jason.
Man, we're like twins, beards and all. I just shaved mine before the webinar. Otherwise, I looked just like you beforehand. So,
pretty close. So my question is, when are we going to see 512 Romeo again?
That is a great question. So 512 Romeo is currently getting restored. We are going to turn it into 512 Mike Zulu. So I want to brand everything Mike Zulu, but keep the heritage of the 512. Almost everything is done. We're almost done with the Avidyne avionics. Aeroleds, LED lights, and everything else are literally going in. We tapped the brakes on it a little bit. If you remember back when 23 Mike Zulu was damaged up at Oshkosh, and that was a year to get that thing going again. So that slowed down the maintenance side of things, but that's going to be coming a priority here real soon and getting that thing going. I wonder if I still fit in it is the tough part. I used to have to go to a yoga class beforehand to make sure I could fit in a little Cessna 150. So we'll see how that goes now, but I'm excited about it. So I don't know if you and I would fit in it together though, BJ. That might be a tight squeeze. You look strong. So that's super, man. Well, great talk with you, BJ. I appreciate it. Let's see, we've got a few others. I promised Eric Pittman next. Now, Eric, I need you to know this. I don't know what you're doing Saturday for In-Flight Coffee, but you need to watch it because I may or may not be wearing something that you sent. It may have arrived safely. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, buddy. How are you?
Man, I am so good. What's happening?
Not much. I actually got two questions, if that's okay.
Of course.
Okay. One's I've been wanting to ask for a while, but first, before I get into that, I think Jason Bell said it best about your mentorship, man. It's awesome. I listen to you about aviation. I listen to you about a business. I listen to you about life, and I just really appreciate it.
I appreciate you, my friend. I mean, you guys if you don't recognize Eric's name, you've been living under a rock. He is always in Facebook, always on In-Flight Coffee, on the webinars. He is all over the place. So thank you for that, Eric.
Thank you. So the two questions. One I've been wanting to ask for a while is, your Cherokee that you trained in. Do you have any stories about when you were flying and you hear that call sign over the radio again, and it just kind of any good stories with that?
I can do one better than that. I was at the Williston Airport a few years ago, and I saw 6711 Juliet on the ramp. And I saw it, and I looked up who had the registration, and I reached out to Magda, and I said, let's buy it. And she said, no, you do not need another airplane. It's in serious need of updates. It still has the old school, no flip-flop radios. It is basic on basic. It'd be only for the nostalgia of the MzeroA museum one day would be the only purpose. I did, as BJ was alluding to, I guess I didn't get to that part of the story. Thank you for reminding me, BJ and Eric. I was able, how long ago, Magda? 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, able to buy back 512 Romeo. So remember, I had to sell it when we fell on hard times. And I relate the story to Papa John of Papa John's Pizza, who's just recently gone through a bunch of more adversity, but his early adversities, he had to sell his original delivery car. Grew Papa John's, then was able to go track down his original delivery car and buy it back. So that was pretty cool. 512 Romeo is in our possession. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, Eric, I would love to buy 6711 Juliet back, but Magda, let me get the MzeroA Museum up and running, and then we'll do that. I promise. I promise. So that's cool. Let's see. Let's find. John Mahaney, Magda. He's going to be causing trouble over there too. I feel like he should be at Sun and Fun or something like that. Maybe let's unmute John. John, how are you doing, my friend? Long time no talk. What are you up to?
Gosh, well, it's been years since I met you at AirVenture and interviewed you for Florida Aviation Network, but all of a sudden here we are in your 14th year anniversary. Holy cow.
It is crazy. You look as good as ever though, John. You haven't changed a bit.
Thank you. No, actually last year with everything that happened, flight safety let me go. 800 of us April 30th. So it's, after 16 years and 2 weeks, they said, thank you and goodbye. So in the process of reinventing myself, but working on a lot of different things, and I own a Cessna 150 that I fly for fun, and I'm a partner in a 180. And anyway, so just was part of this, and you've got quite a gathering here. It's just amazing to see. And I was actually thinking about getting my UAV unmanned,
yeah, part 107.
And you've got the ground school, so I might just have to sign up for that. So and I'm still very much in the game enthusiast. In fact, I'm looking at a DC-3 type soon, B-25.
Cool.
Summer. So I'm going after the bucket list things now, the fun stuff, because last year I turned 65 last September. I don't feel like it, but I got to do this stuff while I can.
Yeah,
So,
I got you, man. I got you. That is awesome, John. Well, good to see you. I hope we can both catch up at AirVenture this year. Hopefully it's the world's somewhat back to normal by then, and we can make that happen, John. But good to see you again, my friend, and congratulations on reinventing yourself. I promise we'll stay in touch and watch that process blossom.
Thanks for sharing your story. It's awesome.
Thank you, John. Thanks for sharing your story. I appreciate you. Let's head over to, let's see, Jason Crow. First off, thank you for your service, my friend. And let's unmute him, and then we'll go Brett, Rob, Oscar is the order we'll go in. So Jason Crow, what's happening, man?
Hello, my friend. Can you hear me okay?
Man, I got you loud and clear. What's happening?
Awesome, man. I just want to say, first of all, happy birthday. Congratulations to you and MzeroA. And I wish you even greater success. And just because of everything you do, I've been with you, of course, as you know, off and on for several years now. But my question to you is, I was flying close to my check ride. Yes. And ran out of that paper fuel to keep me flying.
I understand.
So I've been out of it for probably about 2 years. And what advice would you give to get back up to speed and in the least amount of time and money?
Understand completely. Where did the money run out? Where in your training were you when you had to stop? Oh, we got to unmute him again. Sorry, Magda. Will you unmute him one more time so I can hear his answer?
There you go. I was about 70 hours in.
About 70 hours in. So you have soloed.
Oh, yeah.
You've done your cross country. It's just check ride prep, basically, right?
Pretty much. Done my, all my night, all my requirements are met. Like I said, I was ready for the check ride. But like I said, money ran out and had to stop for a while, and money's not an issue anymore, and just had to get back. Of course, if you don't use it, you lose it. So
I understand. And you hear the analogy all the time. It's like riding a bike. And well, yeah, some things it's not perfect like that. What you'll really find is, Jason, it's the knowledge that'll leave you up top, right? Was I supposed to make that radio call now? Or what do I do here? What do I say here? What's that regulation for this airspace again? That's the kind of things, because it's the principle of disuse. But if you have a strong foundation on that primacy, that can all come back to you. So where I need you to focus, if you've been out for 2 years, yes, I want you in check ride prep mode, but assuming we've got the finances in place, but the finances in place is really twofold, Jason Crow. It's Do I have the finances to get through? It sounds to me like 10 hours realistically of flight, and probably less than that. I'm just being a little, I'm very budget minded now. So plan 10 hours financially. But Jason Crow, the most important part is, do we have the budget to keep going afterwards? And maybe not an instrument rating, but are we in a position to fly with the spouse, fly with the friends, fly with the kids twice a month, whatever it is, just to keep yourself a good pilot who's always learning, right? So don't just think of it as check rides done, because then you stop. How do I keep this thing self-perpetuating and going? And that's why I want you thinking. So yes, let's plan 10 hours. Let's plan flying twice a week, 3 times a week, if time allows for it. But before you do that, you're doing the right thing right now. And I see you all the time in the groups and in the webinars and your YouTube comments and all that. You are living this thing out. Keep working on the knowledge. If you have passed your private pilot check ride, be listening to that on repeat and just getting yourself familiar with it again. I would truly go into it with student pilot eyes, because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you missed. We just rolled out our new learning management system, new ground school. I would encourage you to hop in there, even take a 2-week free trial when those open up, and take a 2-week free trial and just get in there and go, you know what? Some people are going to say, I don't need to see the pre-flight video. What could Jason teach me on pre-flight? But student pilot, humble eyes, go in there and go, yeah, I should probably watch this. Hopefully it's just a refresher, but there might be that one nugget of wisdom that not only passes my check ride, but could save my life. I mean, how many of you saw this week the alternator belt break on 23 Mike Zulu? How many of you saw that? How many of you next flight are going to go out and go, let me take a real good look at this alternator belt now, right? I mean, that's just how it works. And it's not just me posting that, you all post these sort of things. So that is going to continue to help as well. So hopefully that helps you, Jason Crow. Let's go, Eric. I know you want to ask another question as well. So let's do Brett West, Oscar, back to Eric. And again, if you want to chat, Zoom hand has to be up and camera has to be on. Brett West, what's happening, man?
Hey, congratulations on 14 years. That's absolutely terrific. So quick backstory on me. I got my PPL way back in the early 1990s. And believe it or not, I bought all this library of VHS tapes from John and Martha King, and that's where I did all my ground school. And then like you, I became an entrepreneur, and I took 25 years off aviation, totally dropped it, sold my airplane and built my businesses and then sold them all recently. And now I'm enjoying life. And 3 years ago, I decided to get back into it. That's where I discovered you. So you are my modern day King School, and I appreciate that. You are the modern day King School. And it's from a guy who's in his 50s, and only the older guys that are listening can understand what I'm saying. Congratulations, because you are now the premier ground school, and I appreciate it. I'm glad to be back in aviation and with you.
Well, thank you, Brett West. That means the world to me. Great to see you. I see your name so much. So now I know that's a good looking guy, Now I know what you look like, Brett. So that is super, my friend. Great to chat with you. And again, to everybody, I hope we get to meet up at an air show soon when the world's back to normal, or Aviation Mastery when we host those events again as well. So that'll be super. Magda, let's head over to Oscar, and then Eric Pittman. And then if I don't see anybody else, so start raising hands if you want to chat over here. Oscar Mendina, what's happening, man? How are you?
Hey, Jason. Hey, MzeroA family. Sorry, I put stay muted again.
You're all right. We got you.
I wanted to say congratulations because everything you have achieved. And I wanted to say thank you because thanks to the information you provide, I met the MzeroA family like 3 years ago. I was able to pass my instrument check ride and my commercial check ride. And now I'm back here in Bolivia. I'm from Bolivia.
Wow.
I'm working as a ground instructor. And I wanted to say thank you because you have inspired me to be safer. And also, I try to teach that to my students now, that safety is the most important thing. So thank you.
That is outstanding. Oscar from Bolivia, thank you for watching. That is an awesome, awesome story. What a blessing, my friend. You see, this aviation is full circle. It is a self-perpetuating, never-ending game, isn't it? It is so awesome. Let's do Eric Pittman. Then look at Tom Gerber. I see him there too. Let's do Tom Gerber first because he's popped up first, and then Eric, then Danielle. I see you just popped up here. So Tom, what's happening, man?
Hi, Jason. Hey, listen, I appreciate everything that you've done. Congratulations on hitting 14 years, man. That's a great milestone. And dude, the story you shared tonight was fantastic. Man, that really hit home for me with some of the points, brother, and staying focused and moving through adversity. 2 questions for you, brother. When were you doing your flying in Jacksonville?
Wow, I would have been flying in Jacksonville 07 through 09, perhaps. I'd have to go back and look at my logbook and see.
I was just curious. It was long after that I was up there. I was stationed out at Cecil Field. I was working on all the F-18s out there back whenever they had them.
Yeah, very cool. So at Cecil Field, many of the MzeroA Nation knows the story, and you probably remember this, Tom. At Cecil Field, they used to have half of an aircraft carrier painted on one of the, I want to say the north-south runways. I can't remember there. And Joel will be so mad at me, but he shares the story too. You can't paint an aircraft carrier on a runway and not expect me to give it a try, right? So I used to bring his 172 in there, slam it down. There was no rope to catch you. It was just paint, right? I'd burn up the brakes, but I did successfully land on a painted aircraft carrier at Cecil Field. So those are my Cecil Field memories.
Outstanding. That's
cool.
Great. Hey, one other thing for you. I'm getting ready to start. I finished up my, went through your instrument ground, finished that up last fall and got my instrument rating. So now I'm starting on my commercial stuff. The question I had for you, what made you go with a Tecnam twin versus something along the lines of like a Seneca 3, something along those lines? Because I'm strongly considering jumping into getting the twin and then lease back to the flight school, just so I would have it so that I can basically fly whenever I want to. So what made you decide what type of twin you were going with and go that route?
It was purely financial at the time. You know, I was in a season of business that were doing well, but not like brand new Seneca type well. So the Tecnam allowed us to get a glass panel plane, although remember, it's just a G950, which means it's not a full G1000. It does not have the engine monitoring on the other panel. I didn't know a lot about the Tecnam, and the Tecnam posed its own unique challenges. Rotax engines meant sending the mechanic off to have Rotax specific training, which means that also it didn't like 100 low lead. It really preferred to be on a high octane unleaded fuel is where it really wanted to be because it just spit out the lead, forced us to do earlier oil changes. You've heard my Tecnam greenhouse stories and everything else. It was purely budgetary in rationale. If I was doing it again, and again, I specifically wanted a glass panel twin, which meant either a Tecnam or a Seminole, which was 800 grand at the time, and it probably still is around there new. I mean, you could probably go find a used one now, but I wanted something on the newer side. If I was to do it again, I would have gone with the Piper product. I would have gone with probably a Seminole. A Seneca might be, and there's some watching this that have used a Seneca in training, but a Seminole, how many people who have their multi did it in a Seminole? I'd imagine most. I mean, that's a pretty popular. Kirk, I see you, man. I see quite a few of you. Yeah, it's such a forgiving twin. The other thing, and again, Tecnam is a phenomenal company. The people over there are just outstanding humans. I love them to death. I'm friends with I actually visited the factory in Italy. It's tough sometimes though to get different parts. I remember one time we had to replace the fire extinguisher holder. And it was an actual PM8. It was an actual PM8 part, so it had to be that part number. We couldn't just hold it with anything. And Tecnam Florida didn't have any parts, so it had to come from Italy, which meant it took 2 weeks. And it just, that took a little bit of effort. I mean, Piper's right here in Vero Beach. If I did it again, that's the route I would go with that. But great question on that, my friend. Thank you. Let's go. Let's chat with Eric Pittman now. Eric Pittman, what's happening again, my friend? I muted you too soon. I'm sorry, my friend.
It's all good. Yeah, I had the second question I forgot about. So
all right, what's up?
All right, so I know you talk a lot about your aviation mentors and stuff like that. What is your memory of your first time you were like, I'm a mentor to somebody else? I know, or you had to have some sort of like good story about, becoming the master to somebody else,
Yeah, that's something I'm still working on to this day, right? You never want to get fully to that level. You're always pursuing more. I'll never forget my first student. I remember it was almost like my first solo in a way. I remember sitting in the right seat going, this person's paying me money and they're listening to me, Eric. They're doing what I'm asking them. And then I gave them some homework and they came back and Eric, they did their homework. I'm thinking, I'm a leader. Someone listened to me, right? I felt like I was in charge. And it was cool. And then reality set in that, whoa, this is serious. Like people are basing, safety on my decisions. I have to live that in everything I do. I had to clean up my flying, my mindset, my training, everything else. And I encourage that in my students. It's funny. There's a story of an awesome gentleman, and his name escapes me. If I saw him, I would know it was him. I met him in Gulf Shores, Alabama. He, and I believe it was his wife, I'm not sure if they were married at the time or not. And he came up to me crying. And I said, I've never had anybody cry before. And he was just dressed to the nines. I'm talking everything but the suit jacket. He had a tie, he had a collared shirt. And he said, Jason, I'm wearing this for you. I said, what do you mean you're wearing this for me? He said, in the ground school, you always talk about if you want to be a professional pilot, it's time to start acting like a professional. It's time to start getting rid of bad habits. He had quit, I think it was drinking and smoking and just all these bad habits. This is my career. I want to make this. And he said, Jason, you told me to get rid of my bad habits. And I did it. I'm dressed like this today as a professional because you said so. And he was literally crying as he's telling me this. I'm going, CFI's watching this. Your words are powerful. The way you carry yourself has so much weight. The things, by the way, you all are posting on Facebook, you better believe everybody sees it, right? You better believe you think, oh, I better be careful. My employers are looking at my Facebook. How about those that you mentor and those that look up to you? That's even more important than that. You hear fake it till you make it. And there's some truth to that too. You have to act and seem like that person you want to be perceived as, right? You have to live that attitude. This is why I think I shared this 2 weeks ago. If you ever see me not acting in a manner that I teach, I hope all of you have the humility and the confidence to come up and say, hey, Jason, do what you teach, man. You say you should never pre-flight without a checklist in your hand. And Jason, the checklist isn't the plane. I'm looking right at it. You have to practice what you preach and live it. It's what you do in private, what you practice in private, it comes out and everybody ends up seeing in public. What a great question too for today. Eric, I've never shared this before, what we just shared about everything from a divorce to all these things that are like taboo, no one wants to talk about kind of stuff, but you just see this polished product with all the editing that John does and Ray does and Amanda does to make us look good, but you don't see the backstories. You didn't see the Slack message I was sending into Amanda 5 minutes before this thing actually started going, hey, we need to fix this. We need to do this, right? Like I forgot my earpiece, nothing's perfect. So it's cool that you got to hear the behind the scenes story with all that. So great stuff, Eric. All right, let's go in this order. Let's go Danielle, Victor, we're coming to you next. Looks like you're driving though, Victor. So we got to find a good stopping point for you. I see you smiling, and then we'll go to Kyle, and then, oh, I see Brad. Brad's hanging out there too. So Danielle, Victor, Kyle, Brad is the order, Magda. Let's unmute Danielle. She is unmuted. How are you? Good to finally chat with you.
Hi, good to chat with you too. Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear. How's everything going?
It's good. Everything's good. I wanted to first of all say happy birthday and happy anniversary. And I believe I mentioned this on one of my very first in-flight coffees that I haven't been flying much because I broke my foot. So Thank you so much for helping me through this broken foot and not being able to actually fly, because in-flight coffee and all of your live webinars have helped me through and like stay focused and push through. So I really, really want to thank you for that.
Yes.
Hopefully I'll be back in the plane very soon. I'm back on the road to recovery, so I'm in the air soon.
That is outstanding, outstanding. What's your question?
I don't have a question per se, but like I said, I listen to all your live webinars and in-flight coffees. And my question is, if you ever do like entrepreneurial webinars or decide to take your business in that direction, please let us know, because I listen to your live webinars and sometimes I have family or friends in the background and they're like, who are you listening to? Why are you listening to a motivational speaker? I'm like, I'm not, it's a ground school instructor. It's for my pilot lessons. This guy is so awesome. So you teach aviation so well, and it's in such a great positive light and almost like a motivational speaker. And if you ever decide to do that for motivation or for life or for business, keep all of your students here informed, because I know I will be on any of those, because just the way you teach and your whole attitude is awesome. I just want to say thanks.
You are awesome, Danielle. Thank you. Hey, one reminder, Danielle, you know I'm full of props. Remember, JFK Jr. broke his ankle, right? I'm glad you are not flying, right? It was bad. That's a bad example. That was a really too soon, right? And I can joke with Danielle. We chat every Saturday on In-Flight Coffee. So it's finally great to see you and chat with you. So look forward to seeing you this Saturday on In-Flight Coffee.
I'm taking my written this Saturday. I'll miss it.
Oh, that's right. I remember you. We chatted about that on Facebook. I saw that. So as your excused absence, just post the past test in there. That is acceptable. That's acceptable. Yeah, Magda says she'll miss you too.
Thanks, Magda.
Awesome. All right. Let's see. Victor, are you in a good spot to chat over there? I see, maybe he's a passenger. I don't know. Let's ask him. Let's unmute him. Let's see. Victor, check your screen. It should, there, we got you, my friend. What's happening, man? How are you?
Very good, but if you could come back to me, I will be off the road in about 3 minutes.
I got you. We'll come back to you in 3 minutes, which means we are going to go to Kyle. I think I said was next in the list, then Brad, then Jeff, then we'll come back to Victor here. Kyle, what's happening, man? How are you?
Hey, can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear, man. What's up?
Awesome. Hey, nice to meet you. This is like the first time I'm seeing you live and everything.
Awesome.
I always see webinars at work driving around. And this is the first time I actually seen you live. I'm just very happy to meet you. That's all. Congratulations on 14. I just passed my written today. I got the
Congratulations, my friend. That's outstanding. That's awesome.
88%. But yeah, I got my ride coming up. So when I started, I kind of had like so much information. I didn't know how to like categorize it or how to focus on one thing. And your ground school, that boot camp really helped like put on rails. And I've been recommending it to everybody. They're like, oh, this guy's great.
That is awesome. Congratulations, my friend. So how far out from check ride are you, do you think?
End of May. My instructor just said, because he's actually getting his CFII with me kind of on the same day. So we're going to take the plane down together and do it. My instructor works with me too. And
awesome.
It's just very convenient.
That is so great. You think in a career, where are you taking this thing?
So I'm a full-time police officer right now. And
awesome. Thank you.
I want to do it on the side, but you never know, maybe early retirement, get into commercial.
I gotcha. Hey, you gotta hook up with Matt. Matt's on this webinar somewhere too. Matt's our COO. He left a career law enforcement to come in to work for MzeroA. So that is super cool. So radio work was super easy for you then, huh?
Yeah.
And all that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's so cool. Well, awesome, Kyle. Well, great chat with you. Congratulations on the knowledge test, and post some pictures of that check ride. Ask any questions as you get closer, my friend. All right. Super. Let's head over to Brad real quick, and then Jeff will head your way. Brad, you were still rocking that hat from like 3 years ago, my friend. It's time for us to upgrade you, I think.
You know, it's one of my more comfortable hats. So even when I have a headache, I can wear the hat and it doesn't bother me. So it works out.
You look good too. You look smart when you wear it, you know?
It's all because of you. So thanks, man. Thanks for hooking me up.
Thank you. What's happening, man? What are you up to?
It's one of those things we've as you know, I've been running this Will Wed for 110 low lead business for a little bit now, but we're thinking about making a serious run at that, and integrating aviation into the wedding business. And more to come on that as we continue to explore that. But I really appreciated the conversation we had in in-flight coffee about plane ownership and how to look at buying your own airplane. But when you operate an aircraft in your own business, what's your top tip? How do you take an airplane just from something you enjoy to sharing it with others and earning an income from it?
How do you want to strategize this, Brad? Are you thinking using the plane just for the wedding business, for travel, which I think you're doing now anyways? Or do you mean more so, I want to throw this in a club, I want to release it back to a flight school? Give me some of the business acumen behind it. What are you thinking?
Yeah, we wanna start doing elopement weddings in the airplane. So yeah.
I love it. Elopement weddings in the airplane. You guys writing this down? All single guys, single ladies, write this idea down. He'll come from Wisconsin to you. It's a Cherokee 6. I love this idea, my friend. Few concerns come to mind. Obviously, what does elopement in an airplane insurance look like? I've never heard of such an insurance policy, but that's going to take some creativity on that part that you're going to have to explain. Who's PIC? Because can you officiate and be PIC of the airplane at the same time? Yeah, that one I don't know. We'll have to look into that a little bit. But yeah, that's an insurance and a Part 91 regulatory thing that we can work through and figure out, my friend. I like that. Maybe you and I can continue that conversation offline. I love crazy business ideas because I've had a million of them as well. And I think that's really, really super, my friend. Insurance would be the top one to look into. But hey, single guys, single ladies, Brad's your guy up in Wisconsin. Use promo code MzeroA. That's even a real thing. He will tell you that's a real thing, right, Brad?
If someone emailed me and used promo code MzeroA, like I think we just do it for free and have a good time.
Exactly. That is so cool. Well, renewing vows, whatever you guys got to do. I love it, Brad. Well, super. Well, hopefully I'll see you at Oshkosh, my friend, and we can catch up there a little bit more as well. So looking forward to that, Brad. I'm sure I'll see you this Saturday for in-flight coffee. Hey, let's head over to Jeff's iPhone, I see. Let's unmute him. Jeff, what's happening, man? How are you?
Great. How about you, Jason?
I am doing absolutely outstanding this evening. How's flying going for you?
Well, I am hopefully, winds permitting, going to be doing my check ride on Monday.
Awesome. Congratulations in advance.
Thank you.
So winds permitting, where are you geographically?
Show Arizona.
Oh, okay. You can get some winds out there, no doubt. But good
spring.
Weather. Yeah,
Every
clear
spring.
skies, but windy weather. Yeah, good point.
Well,
okay.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to thank you for all that you do. I've been a member for about 3 years now and recently became a lifetime member.
Yes, thank you.
I've been in through your lessons countless times, as well as your videos. And you've definitely helped me become a more comfortable student and pilot. And I'm going to be turning 60 years old in a couple months and finally fulfilling my dream of flying.
I love that, my friend. Well, congratulations in advance as well. We expect an update on that check ride and everything else. So really, really excited about that, my friend. Thank you so much. Let's head over, Magda, let's head over. Victor's back. Let's chat with Victor. Then Jeff, I see, Jeff Gerard, I see you have your hand up too. We'll do Victor and then we'll go over to Jeff. Victor, we're glad you're not driving now, my friend. What's happening?
Yes, thank you. First, yes, congratulations and happy anniversary.
Thank you, my friend.
The team and all you guys have done. Thank you for coming back to me. I was doing my best to just pay attention to the road, but I was listening as to everyone's story and as you were talking. So I'm glad that I was able to get home and be able to talk to you now. So yes. I do have one question, something that I've been kind of struggling with over the past few months now. It's been maybe about 2.5 months since my last flight. I have 30 hours in I've already passed my written. However, as I continue to learn, I'm currently using your online ground study. And as I'm learning more, I'm finding a lot of inconsistencies with the flight school that I'm currently training with. And I'm just curious if you might think maybe it's worth it to switch to another school, even though I'm fairly close to, reaching the goal that I think so. And or if I just should continue to work with who I currently have, and I don't know. That's what I'm kind of struggling with there.
I hear you, my friend. So you've passed the written test, the knowledge test. How many hours do you have right now, Victor?
I'm at 30 hours now.
About 30 hours. So written test is done. You've soloed by now, I imagine, right?
I haven't. So I was actually supposed to before my last flight, but we canceled because of weather. And then since then I haven't gone back yet.
Okay, interesting. All right. So Victor's question is, I passed my written test. Congratulations, that's awesome. 30 hours, sounds like about to solo. And the question is, I'm watching the ground school and I'm watching what my flight school does, and it sounds like there's some inconsistencies between those two things. Is that paraphrasing it correctly, Victor?
That's correct.
All right, super. So Victor, think back to the YouTube series we did in March. It was all about the fundamentals. And what was the main watchword there was, if you're building your foundation, right, to come back to the word we used tonight, your fundamental foundation in sandy soil, man, when things hit the fan, we're going to end up with some problems here. But then I think it was Danielle and a few others asked on an in-flight coffee, like, well, how do I know if I'm building a sandy foundation, Jason? You perhaps need to go out, Victor, and maybe find another opinion. Maybe just, is there another flight school, another airport? Just like, hey, could I just do a quick, not technically a discovery flight, but just an assessment of where I'm at with my training. And maybe you fit with this guy or this gal just better. Maybe you work better with them. Maybe you just go, man, look at the systems they have in place. Look at the syllabus they have. My other school's not doing this sort of stuff. Sometimes you don't know what you have until it's gone. And sometimes you don't know what you have until you left the other thing and found the better thing. Like it can go either way with that, because the scariest thing of all of this, Victor, and you've heard me say this before, is, are you just learning to the capacity of your CFI? Victor, if your CFI just knows this much, you're just going to learn to about here, right? And if they're weak in systems, guess what? Unless you're an A&P mechanic or super handy, you're going to be weak in systems as well. So that's a scary part to me. And it might be time to go check it out. And is the cancellation of solos and stuff, is that more weather? Is that more them? Whatever it is. But you have to remember, my friend, you are hiring them. You are hiring the flight school and you are voting with your dollars. And I think it may come as a benefit to get a second opinion. Victor, if you had a family member who had a terrible illness, you wouldn't just trust what one doctor said, right? You would go and get a second opinion and then a third opinion and everything else. This is our lives and our safety. And Victor, you want to fly with a spouse one day and kids one day and take friends flying one day, or a career, and you're flying 200 other people's spouses and kids behind you. This is nothing to mess around with. I would consider looking into a second opinion with that. Just my 2 cents on that. Let's do Jeff and then Tyson, and we'll call it a night on that one. Jeff, my friend, what's happening, man? Did you buy that TBM yet? I saw you own tail number 900 Mike Zulu. Do we need to be partners on that or what?
Yeah, it's just an affirmation. trying to work that out. Hey, happy anniversary to you and the MzeroA team. And hey, thanks to Magna and the team for all the private pilot blueprint books. I'm going to make sure that those are all given to deserving future pilots. Hey, so I was going to ask you how the M600 was coming. That was my question. I'm planning on working remotely from Orlando in a couple of weeks, so I need to check out that auto land feature and the paint job in your new ride. So
hold on, let me tell you, let me show you who holds the checkbook. You want to come over here and tell them how the M600 is going? I mean, this is important. She's fixing her hair. Hold on, everybody. She's gonna be embarrassed. She's fixing her hair. How's the M600 coming?
He's in the paint shop.
It's in the paint shop. Yeah, the Matchbox paint shop, it seems like.
I sent you an ad for a used one. It had a little off runway excursion and collapsed the nose gear, but it was in steel.
It's fixable. It's all just, paint and metal, right? I mean, geez. So that's super, my friend. That's super. Well, how's Cirrus flying and everything else going?
Oh, good. Flying some more dogs next week and
fun.
Going up to Chicago and pick up some dogs and bring them back to Mississippi.
I love it. I love it. A great way to give back, my friend. Well, thank you, Jeff. And always good to see you and hear from you. And I'm sure I'll see you this Saturday at In-Flight Coffee then, okay?
That's right.
Super, my friend. Thank you. Team, let's wrap up chatting with our buddy Tyson, who I get to chat with. I see so many pictures of Tyson. He's so active on Facebook and everything else. Tyson, what's happening, man? What are you up to?
Hey, sir. It's really good to hear from you. Sorry I was a little late tonight. I was taking care of some things, but really glad to be a part of the MzeroA Nation. Just want to say happy anniversary to you guys. I think what you guys have built is really outstanding. It's truly inspirational to me. I started flying back in about 2010, I believe, and then took about a 6-year break whenever I joined the Air Force, and have recently gotten back into flying over the last couple of years when I earned my commercial single and multi-engine, as well as my instructor certificates.
Awesome.
My question to you, as somebody like myself who's a newly minted CFI, I do some aerial photography and surveying on the side as well. What would be your piece of advice to a newly minted CFI that's kind of new to this whole thing of, I want to instill the very best in my students? So what would be that one piece of advice that you would give us CFIs to be able to pass on to our students?
If it's okay with you, I'll give a few small pieces. How's that sound? I know you've heard, I know you've heard me say, you obviously as a CFI, Tyson, you have to continue growing. And I know you're doing that. I see you live it every single day. You're so active in the MzeroA Nation Facebook group and everything else, but you as a CFI have to keep growing, because just like we we're just talking about with Victor, students are only going to learn to your, you're a 10, but they're only going to learn to your 7 or your 8, right? So you have to keep going. So your 7 and 8 is higher than anybody else's 10 or whatever else that may be. You also have to remember, and you've heard this advice from me too before, Tyson, is you can't teach steep turns the same way to every single person, right? You take an entrepreneurial type A personality like myself, who's like, hey, big picture, just show it to me once and then let me do it, right? Monkey see, monkey do. Then you take someone who's more an engineering type, Tyson, who goes, listen, you mentioned there's a horizontal and a vertical component of lift. Explain that to me a little bit more. How does that work? What is actually happening? Meg always uses the example that lift is like a bank account, right? You're just trading one for the other. So we've got to break this down into plain English, but to the engineering type mindset as well. And then lastly, go back to Eric Pittman's question, where he was saying, what impact, when you became a mentor, because you are a mentor, whether you like it or not now, Tyson, so many other people. And when I had the gentleman come up to me crying, who's now dressed professionally, cleaned up his life and everything else because he wanted to be professional, Tyson, you have to live that. It's a lot of pressure in a way to always be on. Like in a way, Tyson, you can't have bad days when you're out there with your students. You just can't, because if they see Tyson showing up 5 minutes late, it's okay for them. If they see Tyson dragging on in there, doing kind of a half a pre-flight, you set the standard. Flight instructors, you're not allowed to have bad days in the airplane. And if you have one that you just can't shake yourself out of, you need to cancel, because you set that example. Here's another one. I don't have a phone near me, but I'll pretend I have a phone. Whoever had a CFI, look, it's even a pixel camo background. Everything's branded, right? Whoever had a CFI do one of these. Yeah, Steve, turn to the left now, please. All right, yeah, that was good. Can we go to the right now? Show of hands, who's ever had a CFI do this to them? Like there's too many hands up. There's too many hands up right now. It's sad in a way. So it can be frustrating sometimes. I had a CFI, Tyson, I know you've heard the story. I had a CFI fall asleep on me once. Like that, anybody ever have a CFI fall asleep on them during a flight lesson? We talked about this. Rick's got 2 hands up. I see it, Rick. Yeah, it happens. I mean, granted, the guy worked night shift and was a CFI by day and everything else, but Tyson, my friend, you are the example. You set the standard with everything. So that would be my advice to you on that one. So let's see. Look, one of our fantastic MzeroA team members, Chris. Let's talk. We got to talk to Chris. Chris has got his hand up over here. I mean, Chris, you want to say hi to everybody? Chris, you probably chatted with Chris in our live chat. He's one of our phenomenal team members. Chris, what's happening, man?
Not much. Yeah, I've had I've had instructors. I was literally just explaining. Elise is behind the computer.
Yeah. Hi, Elise.
I was just explaining that I've had instructors sit there and on their phones and not paying attention, and how I literally just explaining how frustrating it is as a flight instructor, knowing how expensive flight training is. For you to do that is so irresponsible. And I was just saying too, I used to apologize to students when my phone would buzz. I'd take my phone out to silence it. I would apologize to my students for taking my phone out of my pocket.
Yeah.
It makes no sense that people, could care so little about your money, especially considering that they've been in that space. It's unacceptable to me, honestly. It's frustrating that people do that. And it's also frustrating that, I've actually had instructors yell and curse and scream at me for making mistakes. And it's you can't learn like that. You know what learning is like. There's no reason for you to do that, So from a very personal standpoint, I expect a lot of, courtesy and professionalism from new instructors, That's the one thing I think I would carry over to new instructors.
Yeah, no doubt, my friend. Well, Chris, always good to chat with you. Thanks for leading the charge on support today and everything else and helping out so much. Lisa, good to see you. I saw you over there. Let's see. I said I was going to be done, but you guys stayed up so late. If you're willing to stay up so late, we're going to answer some questions. Again, if you got your Zoom hand up and your camera's on, we will chat. Vince, can you give me a thumbs up? Are you in a good spot to chat now? Is that okay? All right, let's go to Vince real quick. And then Vicky Mackey's next after that. That's going to be exciting here. Vince, what's happening, man? What are you up to?
How's it going, brother? How you feeling?
Man, I am doing super good to see you again. What's happening?
Well, some bad news. As I told you last time, check ride was scheduled for Thursday.
Yes.
I find out Tuesday that the mechanics found a major amount of corrosion in the tail of my airplane.
Wow.
To the point where it was immediately grounded. And it is a subleased airplane. I mean, someone owns it, they lease it back to the flight school. So the owner was very unhappy. And I don't want to go into too much detail about it. But they have a 150 there, 10 more degrees of flaps, 10 less horsepower. And, I was told I need to be transitioned into that a couple of days before my check ride. Well, I schedule a flight, and I am the second flight of the day. I get a call right before my flight. The alternator light just went on. So the 152 went out, and then the 150 went out for a week. So it's been about a week and a half since I've flown. And now I do not feel ready when it comes to the flying part of it because of this. And I still haven't flown in that new 150. So what are your personal suggestions on how do I handle this with timing and just the mental part of it?
Well, let's back it up a bit. First off, an alternator is way easier to fix than corrosion in the tail. Corrosion in the tail, Lord knows how long or if that'll ever truly get fixed like it needs to get fixed. An alternator is easier. But Vince, you also have no time in that airplane before. You can't do the, hey, hurry up, get some time in the airplane, go take your check ride. That is a recipe for the F word, which is failure. And that's not an option, my friend. Vince, your instructor needs to humble themselves. You got to take a step back a little bit and go, listen, I'd like at a minimum 5 flights in this new plane. Like you said, It's 10 less horsepower. It's 10 degrees more flaps. It just flies differently. Heck, Vince, it's a different tail number. Do you know how confused I get bouncing between just two different tail numbers sometimes? You're on your check ride. You are already a little bit nervous. You just don't need these things compounding. So my friend, I would say a minimum of 5 flights, 5 hours, however you want to divide this up. But you have to ultimately remember, your check ride's already started. Like you're being graded right now, and you're being graded on Code of Federal Regulations 91.3, pilot and command responsibility. And you, Vince, have the final authority as the safety and responsibility of this flight. And Vince, let me tell you, man, obviously you wouldn't be going as much as you want to go. And there's the pressure to go. And the instructor trying to push you through and make all these things happen. Take a step back, use this adversity as a success point. How can I turn lemons into lemonade? How can I make this a positive situation? How can I brush up on some subjects I was kind of iffy on, or use this time to relax and reduce some stress levels and get to where I need to be in my training and just tune it up a notch that much more. What looks like an adversity, what looks like a step backwards, maybe a step backwards so you can jump next time, my friend. So just look at it from that standpoint. Hopefully you caught the whole presentation here about our adversities we went through as a business and relate those to what you're battling right now, my friend. I think that will serve you. Let this adversity serve you, not jail you. And that would be my advice, my friend. Let's talk to our favorite Alaskan, Vicky Mackey. Vicky, by the way, Magda was telling me she took off work for this because it's like, I don't know, the sun's just coming up in Alaska, I feel like. I mean, she's like so many hours behind us over there. I'm just teasing. Vicky, how are you?
I'm doing good. We're only 4 hours behind you. It's getting
I know,
close
I'm
to
just
dinner
teasing.
time.
It's dessert time here, you know, so what's happening? How's flying going, Vicky?
Oh, it's going kind of slow right now. We're having crazy windy weather and stuff, and I've been working so much, I haven't had time to get into the Civil Air Patrol and do any training that way. So,
yes.
But no, I listening to your story, now I know I love being with you guys so much because, you know, you saw in my video about the adversity I ran into with the moose, but that's not the only hurdle I've had. And
well, I've talked to Sarah and I know some of the work issues and everything else and all that. We talked through that. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't really get any support or encouragement from my family. I have a husband who's absolutely terrified of flying, so he won't even help me pay for my lessons. I have to do it myself. But so yeah, it's just, if it weren't for you guys in the Civil Air Patrol, I would just lose hope and just give up. And so I just want to thank you, especially after hearing your story.
Well, thank you, Vicky. Thank you for taking off work to watch this for starters. Vicky, giving up is not an option. Like Holly just said in the chat, we have got you. We have got your back. Don't you worry one bit. Vicky is always on in-flight coffees. Even though it's like when you wake up, I feel like in-flight coffee comes on. It's a good time to drink coffee in Alaska then anyway. So Vicky, that is so outstanding. Mag, let's go over. I don't see a name. I just see iPhone, but I'll chat with him. He's got a beard. Like I used to have a beard over there, but I don't see his name. Let's unmute him and see if you can see that. It doesn't look like it. No, maybe not. All right, let's see. Any other questions, other comments? Again, got to have your Zoom hand up and your camera on. That way I know you're not a crazy person. So let's see. There you are. Now I got you. I just didn't see a name. It just says iPhone, but I was trying to get you. You got me loud and clear now, man?
Is it,
can you hear me?
Can I?
That's you. Yeah, that's you, man. What's happening?
Got a little confused here for a second.
No, it's okay. It just says iPhone, so I didn't know what I didn't know what to
I'm
call
sure
you.
why. It just says that. I got to change my name on my iPhones, I guess.
Yeah, all right. What's happening, man? What's your name
Congratulations.
and what's your question?
My name is Ankit. Pleasure meeting
Ankit.
you.
Yes, likewise.
Watching you guys for a long time. It's helped me through all my training. And I am a CFI at the moment, around 800 hours or so. And still watching you guys, and telling my students about you as well.
Thank you.
So my question is, I know somebody talked about being a CFI and what you suggest and how should you go. So what should I be working on going to the airlines? My goal is to the airlines. So what would be your suggestions that I should work on? A couple things I'm doing myself is the things that I am bad at or poor at. I'm trying to work on that to myself. And this goes to your motto, the pilot is always learning, which I love that.
Yes.
And I'm trying to be learning all the time. And I just want to make myself better in the eyes of the airline. So do you have any suggestions on that part?
Yeah, absolutely. I do. And then Chris, I see, did you have something you want to add to this as well? I lost Chris for a second. That's okay. Absolutely, my friend. So let me put it in perspective. You have to realize, Ankit, that unfortunately, sometimes CFIs who aspire to go to the airlines get a very bad stereotype as, oh, they're just time builders, right? And you know what? That's not always the case. A few bad apples kind of gave that stereotype to CFIs who want to go to the airlines. My friend, the first and most important thing you can do is be as transparent as possible to your students. Because what every single student out here will tell you is, during my commercial, I had 8 different CFIs, and I never knew how long one of them was going to stick around for. I just wish someone would have came to me and say, Jason, listen, I'm sitting in a Delta hiring pool right now. They could call any day right now. I will love on you. I'll be the best instructor I can be, but we're going to document everything because I'm probably not going to be your instructor to the check ride. And that would have been fine with me, instead of I call and they go, hey man, I work for Delta now. You got to call ops. You got to call the front desk. I don't know who you're going to fly with now. Like, wow, we didn't even have like a transition plan or anything. So as you are gearing up for the airlines, my friend, first off, you need to be the best CFI you can be and continue to love on those students. And then, by the way, you have such a unique perspective because you're going to work with students who would beg, who would pay anything to be in your shoes, to be as close to going the airlines at 800 hours as you are. So that's just something else to be mindful of, that you are a mentor in every single thing you do. And I think Chris wants to add something to that. And Chris is one of our phenomenal CFIs who is making the airline transition now. Chris, one of our great MzeroA team members, share a little bit, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me take up some time, Jason. I appreciate it. So another, it's funny because the SkyWest pilot application opened literally right before this started, which is really funny. So it especially right now with COVID, it's all about just being in the know of who's opening up and who's not, and because it's funny, I have exactly the same amount of dual given as you, just about. I have around about 800. So the thing is it's all about knowing the people who are in the companies now, because I'm getting inside knowledge from the companies I want to work at and things like that, and having the background knowledge is really good. In terms of for looking for airlines and kind of how to work with your students from now, Jason could not be more right. It's all about taking care of your students and not using it for time building. I knew a lot of guys who did that. I really don't like people who do that, to be honest. I think that's really selfish. It's all about giving the quality time to your students. Again, like I was saying before, you have to go back to your roots. You were there, you know what it's like, give your students the respect, that the time that they deserve. And this, I mean, you're in the same shoes as me, but when it comes to the airlines, especially now with COVID, it's all about, keeping the apps updated and being in the know is kind of really important. So if you would like, feel free to send in an email or a chat, and I'll be happy to take care of you. We have a lot of great airline guys who are in the company right now, who can give a lot of insight. Feel free to send an email, and I'd love to talk more with you.
Absolutely. And another one of those is Brian. Brian is not only a fantastic CFI, Brian has the most hours at MzeroA.com. You would think I would have the most hours. Brian has the most hours. And Brian flies for a major US carrier on the 737, I believe, right? Brian, you want to share some wisdom on this?
It's really interesting, Jason. I'm certainly glad to have the floor, and I hope you can hear the audio.
Yeah, you're great. You're
well.
great.
And it's an interesting topic. I got my CFI almost 20 years ago. That's dating myself here when you look at it. And I spent 2.5 years at a large 141 school, over 2,500 hours of dual given. And I knew I was going to the airlines. And one of the interesting pieces, and you can't be more right, is that you've got to be absolutely transparent. But at the end of the day, it's not about you as the instructor, it's about your students. It's about your learners. It's about what your pledge to them is to further their aviation education, right?
Yes.
And at some point, there's going to be turnover. I'm on my 3rd airline. It's not about the amount of hours. It's you know, when I got hired, I had 3,000 hours at my first airline in 2006. And now that industry has changed dramatically. It's important, especially somebody asked about, you know, what inspiration can you give as a new CFI? And the passion that you have, the passion that we all have as it MzeroA Nation, to convey that to our students, to our learners, I think is incredibly imperative. So don't ever lose focus of what this is all really about going forward. And if anybody needs any help to Chris's point, I'll be more than happy to field questions as well offline. And I appreciate the opportunity to comment. So, you know, happy birthday. I'm glad to be part of this. I couldn't get my virtual background to work, so I apologize. I'm sitting in my office.
You're awesome,
at
Brian,
home.
don't worry.
And I couldn't figure out how to get my freaking hand raised. That's why I'm standing here doing this. So
You know you're awesome, Brian.
Happy birthday. And that studio looks awfully freaking familiar, buddy.
Thank you, Brian. I really, really appreciate you a ton. Again, Brian's one of our phenomenal writers and CFIs, and Chris and Brian, the whole team, all mean it. I mean, all you have to do is go to MzeroA, bottom right corner, hit support, and the team will reach out to you with that. Dr. Bill, I saw your little candle that you had. Look at him. Dr. Bill's over there starting a fire. Can we unmute him real quick? Are we allowed to start fires on Zoom? I don't know, but don't burn down. Are you in Vermont or are you in Charlottesville? Which house are you at right now?
I'm in Charlottesville, and yesterday was my wife's birthday, and so we had a little thing for dessert and stuff. But you know, and I noticed nobody had put a cake or a candle or anything for you, so I had to get the candle out.
Dr. Bill, you are awesome, my friend. I really, really appreciate you and everything you do.
Yeah, and I go by the restaurant where we had dinner a year ago. About every day when I go to the gym, and I think of you and that great time we had.
You're outstanding. We did have a great time, and I can't wait to be back there. So listen, MzeroA Nation, you are such a blessing to us. I think you all have it backwards. You think we're a blessing to you, but you don't realize that you are oxygen to us. Your comments, your words, your affirmations, everything that you do is just such an amazing blessing. And we're so thankful for everything that you do and continue to do in our lives. We're going to continue this great webinar series. We're going to end with Principles of Mastery back at the very end. So you can head over to MzeroAlive.com. You can RSVP for that as well. So looking forward to that. Again, make sure you're in the MzeroA Nation on Facebook already. Just search MzeroA Nation on Facebook. And please make sure you've already pre-ordered your copy of Aviation Mastery, the book, at aviationmastery.com. Thank you so much for everything that you do. On the behalf of myself, my lovely lady, this amazing team here at MzeroA.com, we truly couldn't do it all without you. Here is to many, many more years of making safer, smarter pilots. And I hope tonight, by hearing this story, we accomplished our goal of just saving just one life. You all are a blessing. Go out there and be a light in an otherwise dim and dark world. And remember, darkness was first, and then the light came. And you are the light, MzeroA Nation and MzeroA family. Have an amazing rest of your night. And most importantly, remember, the good pilot is always learning. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see ya.